in Antony Loewenstein. He's an independent journalist and author of The Palestine Laboratory. That's a book on Israel's arms and surveillance industry. He joins us live from Sydney in Australia. Anthony, always good to have you with us. So yet more journalists being killed in Gaza. Over 200 have been killed since the war began. This isn't happening accidentally, is it? This is blatantly intentional. Why is that?
There's been direct targeting of journalists really in Palestine by Israel for years, but particularly since October 7, there was a study that came out last week by the Costs of War Project, which is a project in the university in the US, which compiled how many journalists have been killed in every single major conflict in the last roughly 100 years, World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, compared to what's happening in Gaza. And what's happened in Gaza, over 200 media workers and journalists killed, is more than every other global conflict combined in the last 100 years. This is a deliberate targeting of journalists. And if you see so much in the Western press, there is so much more interest or concern if, say, Russia or China or Iran targets journalists, which they do. But there's far less interest in Palestinians, who are often the eyes and ears of what we're seeing. There are no foreign journalists in Gaza. What we're seeing and hearing every day, including on Al Jazeera, is coming from Palestinians. And they are being killed systematically, targeted. And the lack of international outrage over that, I think, speaks volumes about how so many in the Western press have a hierarchy of who's important. And sadly and outrageously, Palestinians are not near the top of that list.
Yeah, and above that, there is never any accountability for any war crimes committed by Israeli forces. And if the flow of information coming out of Gaza is restricted by killing journalists, as you just pointed out, the Israeli military can then continue acting with impunity.
Which is exactly what's been happening for 18 months. Look, obviously there was no accountability when Biden was president, with Trump even less so. I mean, Trump is proud of his war on journalists within the US. And that's really continued in various sort of US, I would say, aligned outposts such as Israel. And as you say, there's not even no accountability within Israel itself. If one reads the Israeli press, online, radio, print, TV, often they are proud of the fact that they are killing journalists. There's no shame in a way because there's no accountability. And I think until someone is held to account, someone's put on trial, namely in an international court, this will keep on happening over and over again.
Just a bigger picture here, Anthony. In addition to killing journalists and aid workers, as we've just seen, we're not far off from seeing the Israeli military have troops right across the whole of the Gaza Strip. Are we looking at Israel permanently reoccupying the Gaza Strip?
Almost certainly, yes, with the Trump okay. Netanyahu, of course, is meeting Trump this week at the White House. I mean, what you see after this ceasefire that lasted a couple of months recently is a real desire by the Israeli government, by parts of the Israeli military, certainly the Israeli right, to reoccupy. But it's not just a question of putting Israeli troops on the ground there, it's also to forcibly remove Palestinians from Gaza. Instead of a two-track process here, Israel and the US are speaking to various poor countries, Somaliland, Congo, South Sudan, in the hope that they can bribe them to take 10,000 Palestinians here, 20,000 Palestinians there, and that may or may not happen. I mean, it's an outrageous, obviously, suggestion of ethnic cleansing, but while that's happening, and again, one sees this from Israeli military comments, you essentially have a situation where Israel is trying to build quasi-concentration camps in Gaza. I'm not talking about camps like you saw in World War II. I'm talking about pushing Palestinians into a smaller and smaller area and essentially suffocating them. And there is so little international outrage over that fact. What Israel wants is a Palestine without Palestinians, a Gaza without Gazans. And until there is international pressure to change that, I fear that vision will actually come to pass.
So just a final thought to you then, Anthony. I mean, what does all of this mean then for Palestinians who, as you say, are besieged in the strip by the Israeli military? They face a harsh choice, don't they, of either staying and being killed or accept this kind of one-way ticket out of Gaza as part of Trump's Gaza plan?
I mean, it's no choice, is it? It's a catastrophic choice, if you can even call it that. I mean, I think Palestinians need friends, need allies, need support. And if that's not going to come, as it clearly is not, from the US, frankly, the EU, and a lot of Arab states, where is it going to come from? Civil society needs to massively pressure governments to take action. Not least this week, Netanyahu has been in Europe, and many European nations, including Belgium, refuse to actually arrest Netanyahu and send him to The Hague, as the arrest warrant demands from the ICC. This needs to change. And Palestinians are facing their gravest situation in their history, and we need to support them 110%.
Antony Loewenstein, always good to get your thoughts and your analysis, Anthony. Many thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Well, Israeli forces have been filmed advancing in the city of